On News Hour tonight, bandits abduct 5 relatives of ASU chairman in Zamfara State. Trial of killer of 5-year-old girl Hanifa Abubakar transferred to Kano State High Court. Villagers displaced by bandits in Niger State flee to safer states. And high voltage cable killed dozens in Democratic Republic of Congo. Hello and welcome to the program. I am Zainab Bala. Bandits on Tuesday night invaded the residence of the Academic Staff Union of University ASU chairman of the Federal University Gusau, Zamfara State, Abdurrahman Adamu, and abducted 5 of his family members and his neighbor. Adamu, in a phone conversation with Trust TV, said the gunmen arrived at his residence located at Demba quarters of the university in Gusau suburbs shortly after midnight and began to shoot sporadically.
No, they came. It's bandits or kidnappers, depending on the way you attack them. They came. Though I wasn't at home around 1 a.m. So they came and they ransacked everywhere, robbed, and then left with 5 persons from my house. My younger brother and my niece, and 2 of my wife's younger sisters, and my nephew. No, the 6th person is my neighbor. They met him at home, so they kidnapped him.
But they did not kill anyone, and did not take anything along with them.
No, why not, Ava? Why not? Made away with all the jewelries in the house, some of my own properties, phones, and money. I think it's around 80 something to 90,000 naira. It was one they collected from school yesterday. Damba Quarters Extension.
Security agency, have they responded?
Yeah, they came this morning. The DSS called me. I spoke with the brigade, one brigade command.
You commander,
yeah. So yeah, and I called and they asked me some questions. So I think no security presence. In fact, it was the local vigilante that even had one-on-one. Face off with the bandits. No security apart from the local security men. We call them guards around.
Okay.
They don't actually try their best, but because of the number of bandits that came, they outnumbered them and they were able to have their way. The police only came this morning when everybody was coming to sympathize with us. They came around 8 o'clock. Well, no, I didn't call them. I think it was my neighbor that did that. One of our neighbors that did that. So.
Now, the case against killers of 5-year-old Hanifa Abubakar has been transferred to Kano State High Court from the Magistrate Court that first heard the case. Prosecution counsel Aisha Mahmood said the suspects, including her teacher Abdul Malik Tanku, are facing 5-count charges bordering on conspiracy, murder, and kidnapping.
We charge them for conspiracy. On the first head of charge, a charge against Fatima, the second defendant, for abatement. We also have a head of charge for the attempt to commit the offense by the two. By the second and third, that is Hashimu and Fatima. Then a charge of homicide against Abdul Malik. That's the principal offender.
Now we have a Kano-based human rights lawyer, Abba Hikema, joining us virtually, to talk about this case. Hello, Abba. Thank you for joining us on News Hour tonight.
Hi there. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Now, why would a case bordering, on murder and kidnap, whose punishment could be death, go to a magistrate court and not a high court in the first place?
Well, as you know, the Constitution of Nigeria, especially Section 35 thereof, has clearly stated that the personal liberty of all Nigerians should be protected. And so all Nigerians, whether they are facing serious challenges, like in this case, the accused person right now, also has his own rights, and the law prohibits anyone to detain him beyond certain number of days, and also prohibits him to be tortured or other things like that. So normally what the state does in this case, because the police does not have the power to continue to keep him infinitum, without any limit. So normally they take this kind of cases to a magistrate for what we call hold in brief. The magistrate will hold the brief and then will send the accused person to prison, because the police cannot send him to prison. It takes a judge to send him to prison. Now, this judge cannot be, in the first place, hardly can be a high court judge, because before you take a matter to a high court judge, you need to do a lot. You need to, first of all, prefer the charges. You have to also go to the judge. I mean, you even need leave sometimes, although we have the new dispensation now of the ACGL. Now you need to prepare the charge, and those charges have to be carefully vetted, have to be carefully scrutinized at the state level before anyone is arraigned before a high court. So normally, you get to arraign the suspects before courts that ordinarily do not have jurisdiction, just so that they can take cognizance of the offense and now direct the perpetrator to be remanded in prison custody pending now what the state have just done by filing a fresh charge before the High Court. And this is a court that has jurisdiction to try offenses like culpable homicide, kidnapping, and what have you. So that is just the wisdom behind having to arraign somebody in a lower court, just so that the state could buy some time to do what they have to do, just like they have done right now.
Okay. Now, so do you see, this case terminating at the High Court or going further?
Well, normally, if you look at Section 243 of the Constitution of Nigeria, you would see that one of the grounds of appeal that anybody has is that where somebody is sentenced to death, because culpable homicide, the punishment for culpable homicide, for which the accused person, especially the principal accused one, may have at the end is death. It could be death by hanging. So death by hanging is something that he can appeal up to the level of the Supreme Court. He has the right of appeal up to the Supreme Court, but he may not wish to do it.
Okay. So now there was a hearing today, and the case have been adjourned to the 9th of February. How long, do you think this will hold on?
Now, anyone following Hanifa's case, definitely, I'm sure, is very angry with the country and with the way things are going. I mean, well, I don't want to comment about what happened and how probably they're even discovered, but whatever has happened has happened. Hanifa is now dead, and then everybody is waiting for the state to do justice. And justice in this case is not just for Hanifa or for even the, justice is for the whole, it's for all Nigerians. Everybody in Nigeria is waiting for justice in this case, and there is need for this justice to be dispensed quickly. They say justice delayed is justice denied. There is need for the state to, and the judge and whoever is handling this case as a judge should expedite the hearing of this matter, just so that we can see the justice we need in this case. But like you asked, justice in this case is a three-way traffic. It's justice for Hanifa, justice for the public, and of course justice for the accused person himself. And that is why he has to undergo this rigor. Somebody would have said, why not just turn him to death? Why not just, that is not the laws of this country, and there's need for things to be done according to the law.
Okay, so quickly now before we go. Now, the wife of Hanifa's killer was remanded, and there were counts, presented to her, and which she denied. Now, in her case, what could actually be her verdict at the end of the day?
Well, I went through the news and I saw that the charges are about three. There's concealment, there's conspiracy, there's kidnapping, and there's then culpable homicide. Each of these offenses has its own separate punishment. But then if you conspire in the law, if you conspire with somebody to kill somebody, the punishment of conspiracy in that case could be the same as if you have killed that person yourself. So anybody who has conspired to kidnap Hanifa or to kill Hanifa may find himself suffering the same punishment as if he has killed Hanifa himself.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Abba, for joining us from Kano, all the way from Kano. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Police in Katsina arrest a foot soldier of bandits leader Bello Turji, who specializes in terrorizing innocent communities in Katsina, Zamfara, and Sokoto states. Now, others arrested are 7-man syndicate of kidnappers terrorizing Katsina city. Trust TV's Abdullahi Ahmadi has more.
Waye shugabanka?
Bello Turji.
I'm a member of Bello Turji camp.
To kai wa 'yan sanda
I'm his
bayani
loyalist.
cewa
I
da kai aka kai
participated in
hare-hare.
several
Akalla za ka
attacks
iya
carried
sanin
out
kamar
by
mutum
Bello
nawa ka
Turji
kashe.
and killed over 20 people.
Ka gaya wa 'yan sanda ka ce baka ma san iya adadinsu ba. Iya 20 kacal?
20.
The 7 armed kidnappers arrested in connection with the abduction of one Anwar Abdul Qadir of Sabongida quarters in Katsina Metropolis are Yusuf Usman, Kabir Bello, Sani Musa, and Salisu Ya'u. The suspects have confessed to have conspired with one Ibrahim alias Namadi and others at large in kidnapping Anwar Abdul Qadir, who was rescued and hurt after 14 days in captivity. The police in Katsina have also succeeded in arresting a soothsayer, Abdullahi Bello Kandamo from Niger Republic, who gives charms to notorious bandits, and recovered 2 motorcycles and 8 GSM phones from him.
A team of detectives led by OC Anti-Kidnapping Unit CSP Alphonse Andrew carried out investigation which led to the arrest of the masterminds of the kidnapping and other similar kidnappings and cattle rustling that is happening within the Katsina metropolitan area.
Similarly, 2 notorious suppliers of intoxicants to bandits were arrested by the police in possession of 2,400 bottles of pentazocine injection. Those arrested are Bello Sani and Ma'aruf Muhammad, who confessed to have been supplying the intoxicants to bandits in Dumburum forest. I supply intoxicants to bandits. I buy each at 70 naira only and sell to bandits at 200 naira. I make profit. That's the way of my business. I assist bandits to purchase motorcycles from Kanu. Each motorcycle I collect 50,000 naira for conveying it to Dumburum forest to bandits. In a related development, a combined team of police and vigilante have repelled bandits' attack on Ergoje village of Kankara local government and recovered 1 AK-47 rifle with 2 rounds of live ammunition. The Katsina State Police Command is also investigating 2 fraudsters who specialized in defrauding people through ATM swap. Those arrested are Aminu Rabiu of Dandaguru and Aliu Abdullahi of Kasuwar Mata in Funtua and Batagara local government areas of Katsina State. Abdullah Aliu was said to have confessed of deceitfully swapping the ATM card of one Mariam Saleh Katsina and withdrew all her lifetime savings, including her gratuity, to the tune of about 2 million naira. The police public relations officer, Katsina State Command, SP Gambo Isa, who paraded the suspects, told journalists that they will be charged to various courts of competent jurisdiction after investigation. He, however, called on the public to have a rethink and ensure proper counseling of their children for proper upbringing. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Now, defamation of character case against former Works Commissioner Muazu Magaji at Magistrate Court in No Man's Land has been postponed to February 4th. Defense Counsel Ghazali Datti told Trust Television that he has been served with a notice by the State Magistrate Court sitting securing clashes with some high-profile court cases as the reason for change of date.
Yes, it's been confirmed. Reason being that I received a hearing notice from the court. And the hearing notice says the case has been adjourned from 3rd February to 4th February, the interval of 1 month. And the reasons stated is, I think, security reasons. There will be a trial in another court. That is Kopar Kudu, Abdul Jabbar case. And there will also be the case which we are going to get our rulings. So I think the police have reason to believe that the two cases cannot go at the same time because of the security issues. For them to provide securities there and to provide securities there as well, it will be of great difficulty to them. Yes, the issue of security is very fundamental. It's very fundamental. The reason stated is satisfactorily that because of the security reason, a day has been added to. Because we're talking about just one day. Instead of hearing the case tomorrow, we're going to hear it next tomorrow. And security issue is really something anybody can consider. Yes, I already heard group of young people announcing over the radio that they are pleading with their supporters to please remain calm and stay at home, because there is no need for them to come to court of law and demonstrate. Court is where the trial is where we do the trial. While if you have anything against what is happening, then you can demonstrate your anger elsewhere, but not in the court of law. That decision by the groups is a welcome idea.
Still ahead, media owners in a northern region under the aegis of Northern Broadcast Media Owners Association have expressed frustration over the number of out-of-school children, activities of terrorists, bandits and other social vices bedeviling the north. Addressing a press conference on Wednesday in Abuja, the association announces the commencement of media advocacy and crusade against some of the ills confronting the north and the nation at large. Trust TV's Aisha Salu reports.
Members of the Forum for Northern Media Broadcast Owners and other stakeholders in the broadcast industry at the conference said the country has been engaged in the fight against the scourge of terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, out-of-school children and drug abuse, which were problems of poverty and underdevelopment. Chairman of the association, Abdullahi Yelwa, announced the flag-off of its media advocacy and crusade against some of the societal challenges while highlighting the strategies to be employed.
This is in continuation of our corporate, this effort is in continuation of our corporate social responsibility as the fourth asset of the RIM. This association is a forum of northern media broadcast owners and other stakeholders in the broadcast industry for the promotion of regional and national development, professionalism, and the growth of the broadcast industry in this country.
Abdullahi Yelwa noted that the advocacy strategy is to fill in the missing gap with no aspect of the crisis left untouched and enjoin the society to adopt the self-cleansing value.
There are gaps which is creating a culture of victimism. People are just reduced to being victims when there is so much they can do. One way they can help is by community leaders looking inwards into themselves.
Also speaking at the conference, a member of the association, Ibrahim Biyu, encouraged journalists to perform their due diligence.
We have a moral responsibility as a media practitioners to highlight this issue, constantly highlighting the responsibility that the federal government, the state government, the local government has a responsibility to make sure that they protect the life and security of its citizens. Failure to do that is complete out of order.
The media advocacy and crusade is in continuation of the corporate social responsibility of the fourth estate of the realm. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Elsewhere, many villagers continue to flee their homes as bandits renew attacks on communities in Shiroro, Muya and Rafi local government areas of Niger State. A visit to some of the IDP camps in Gwada, Shiroro local government area of the state, shows that the population had continued to increase as more villages were attacked by bandits.
Some of the IDPs said they have been in the camp for the past 5 years, calling on the government to come to their aid to enable them return home.
Started from 2010 to 2022 now.
Okay.
They have been pursuing us and we still don't know way. We run from our place to this central area. The food problem, have no food, have no clothes to wear, and then we have not more securities in our village.
I want government to help us in order to succeed in this case. Even the food itself, we don't even carry the food from our village. So now, no any food. In fact, even the clothes itself, we have not. And we are here in order to help us, in order to have something that we can consume.
Between Saturday and Wednesday, no fewer than 7 communities have been reported sacked by the bandits. The Saturday attack on Galadima Kogo in Shiroro local government left at least 31 persons dead, including 11 security operatives. Since the Saturday afternoon attack, the bandits have stepped up attacks, forcing many people out of their communities.
Senate wants the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, deploy fighter jets to hideouts of bandits and flush them out. The Senate said the bandits are behind the kidnappings and killings of Nigerians. The call follows a point of order raised on the recent need for the for the federal government to take drastic actions against banditry and kidnapping in some parts of the country.
Senator representing Katsina South, Bello Mandi, while relying on Order 41 and 51 of the Senate rules, noted that the act of banditry and kidnapping has become a daily occurrence in Katsina with huge consequences. The lawmaker recalled that on Sunday, 31st January 2022, gunmen struck Ruwa Godia, a community in Faskari local government area of Katsina State, where 38 people were kidnapped.
The Senate notes that the act of banditry and kidnapping has become a daily incident now in Katsina, with its consequence of loss of lives, means of livelihood, and displacement of communities. Further notes that on Sunday, 31st January 2022, gunmen struck Rongodia, a community in Faskari local government area of Katsina State, where 38 members of the community were kidnapped. Aware that the federal government had made frantic effort in curbing the menace by setting up Operation Sharandaji, an interagency task force to tackle cases of banditry, cattle rustling, and kidnapping in Katsina State.
Other lawmakers in their contributions faulted the inability of the military to curtail the situation despite several calls for action.
Mr. President, I can say that enough is enough. Because what is happening now in Katsina, this shows that yes, we have to not only condemn it, we have to do something very serious. Because we cannot just sit down after declaring these bandits terrorists and then allow them again to continue with all these rubbish acts. So, Mr. President, we have to really look at it critically.
The expectation of this Senate is that there is supposed to be a remarkable difference in success in terms of the fight against insurgency, banditry, and militancy in Nigeria. The military is getting better funding from the government. And what we expect is to see improvement in output. I know the resources are not enough, but recently, in the last 1 year or 1.5 years, government has upscaled the level of funding for our military.
In another development, the Upper Legislative Chamber confirmed the nomination of 7 persons as National Electoral Commissioners and Resident Electoral Commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), as nominated by President Muhammadu Buhari. The confirmation of the nominees followed the consideration of a report by the Senate Committee on INEC. Chairman of the committee, Senator Kabiru Ganya, in his presentation, recalled that the confirmation request was made by President Muhammadu Buhari in compliance with the provision of Section 153, subsection 1F of the Constitution, and in pursuant to the provision of Section 154, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended.
The committee received a petition from Taraba Elders Forum against the nomination of Major General A.B. Alkali retired over the seeming inconsistency in the rotation of the nomination. According to petition, the nomination started from Taraba 2003 to 2008, Commissioner from Taraba, Adamawa 2 from 2008 to 2015, Gombe in 2015 to 2021. The expectation is that the fair thing should do to rotate the nominees from Taraba, not any other state but Taraba. Writing to this, the committee resolved that all the three states, Taraba, Adamawa, and Gombe, had been nominated and benefited between 2003 to 2021.
I want to commend President Muhammadu Buhari for these nominations, all 7 of them. These are very, very well accomplished people. The nomination is very well reasoned, and frankly, like before, I never expected anything less from Mr. President.
The Senate has also received a formal request from President Buhari to confirm 5 nominees as executive directors of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority.
Letter from Mr. President, dear distinguished Senate President, confirmation of appointment of executive directors of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. In accordance with the provision of Section 41, subsection 2 of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021, I am pleased to forward for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of the underlisted 5 nominees as executive directors of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. In order to fast-track the effective takeoff and decision-making in the newly established Regulatory Authority, the distinguished Senate is kindly requested to consider and confirm the nominees in the usual expeditious manner. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari.
Now, moving on, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps says it is reconstituting the anti-vandal unit of the command with a view to protect critical national assets and infrastructure from attacks or vandalism in Rivers State. Newly deployed commander to the state, Abu Tambol, said this in Port Harcourt. The report.
The new commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, in Rivers State, Abu Tambol, said the ongoing fight against vandalism of critical national asset and infrastructure will not stop until the state is rid of oil thieves who are bent on causing environmental hazards. Briefing newsmen after assumption of duty at the command headquarters in Port Harcourt, Tambor reads the riot acts to oil thieves and vandals, stressing that the Corps is intensifying the fight against illegal oil bunkering with deployment of Commandant General Special Intelligence Squad to investigate and monitor critical assets and infrastructure.
I addressed my officers and men to build up in relation to this fight against vandalism. We are committed, remain firm, to fight vandals and any act of economic sabotage in all its ramifications. We must intensify fight against illegal bunkering and also illegal activities by vandals and other miscreants in the state. We must vigorously carry out series of marine operations and land operations in the state to ensure effective service delivery by the service.
Tambuwal, who paraded some suspects and seized exhibits before newsmen, said they were arrested at different parts of the state following credible intelligence by the command's new anti-vandal team.
We are parading before you this afternoon 20 number of suspects of oil thieves 11 trucks of suspected AGO, that is illegally refined as well. We are also parading tankers along with the buses laden with suspected petroleum products. Under this, we call for your usual cooperation, gentlemen of the press.
The state commandant called on residents to give prompt information to the command in order to stamp out nefarious activities of criminals.
Now watching news on Trust Television. Coming up, fears over return of Kalari. Stay with us.
Coronavirus disease, COVID-19, is an infectious disease caused by SARS-CoV-2 virus. Most people who fall sick with COVID-19 will experience mild to moderate symptoms and recover without special treatment. However, some will become seriously ill and require medical attention. The virus can spread from an infected person's mouth or nose in small liquid particles when they cough, sneeze, speak, sing, or breathe. These particles range from larger respiratory droplets to smaller aerosols. You can be infected by breathing in the virus if you're near someone who has COVID-19 or by touching a contaminated surface and then touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. The virus spreads more easily indoors and in crowded settings. Maintain a safe distance from others at least 2 meters even if they don't appear to be sick. Wear a mask in public, especially indoors or when physical distancing is not possible. Clean your hands often. Use soap and water or an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Stay home if you feel unwell. Get vaccinated. Properly fitted masks can help prevent the spread of the virus from the person wearing the mask to others. Masks alone do not protect against COVID-19 and should be combined with physical distancing and hand hygiene. Protect yourself and others around you by knowing the facts and taking appropriate precautions. Follow advice provided by your local health authority. This message is brought to you by Trust TV.
Welcome back. You're still watching news on Trust Television. Here are our top stories. Bandits on Tuesday night invaded the residence of the Academic Staff Union of Universities chairman of the Federal University, Gusau Zamfara State, Abdurrahman Adamu, and abducted 5 of his family members and his neighbor. The case against killers of 5-year-old Hanifa Abubakar has been transferred to a Kano State High Court from the magistrate court that first heard the case. Still ahead, the House of Representatives goes hard on the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund as well as agencies under the Ministry of Labour and Productivity over lopsided recruitment exercise they carried out recently. Ismail Tijani, a federal lawmaker from Kwara State, brought this observation before the House at plenary on Wednesday. Tijani said the recruitment exercise, like many others carried by the government agencies and parastatal without recourse to the principle of federal character as enshrined in the Constitution.
Current recruitment process at NSITF, which alleged to bias and couldn't negatively affect the promotion of hardworking staff of the organization. Also worried that the minister alleged reign of impunity across the ministry, agency, and its supervision has continued unabated despite engagement and intervention of the National Assembly. Disturbed that the alleged undue favoritism in the among recruitment exercise at NSITF could prevent
Chairman SDG. Chairman SDG,
deriving
please.
the maximum benefit from MDAs. Resolve. Mandate the Committee of Federal Character and Committee on Labour, Employment and Productivity to investigate the ongoing recruitment into Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund.
Former Governor of Cross River State, Donald Duke, says he is concerned over calls for youth to take over governance in 2023. The former governor speaks exclusively to Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman, urging leaders to treat the nation's fragile political atmosphere with utmost caution.
Donald Duke, a two-term governor of Cross River State and a presidential candidate in the 2019 general election, welcomed the newly introduced clauses in the reworked Electoral Amendment Bill by the National Assembly, which is currently before the President for assent.
I agree with that completely. When you're appointed into a public office, you give it your all. We don't expect any distractions. So if you're going to go through the onerous process of campaigning, you can't combine that with holding this public office and giving your utmost to the public, right? And there's also going to be abuse. When you hold a public office, you are being looked after partially by the public. You're given a vehicle, you're given staff, you're given drivers. Are you going to use that to contest your own private ambition? So it is perfectly in order.
The former governor, however, expressed reservations on the clamor for the emergence of young leaders at the forthcoming elections, citing previous experiences.
Let's be careful. Youth without experience is an explosive, right? It's young people without experience that led this country into a civil war. They went around slaughtering the leaders at that time, and we suffered the consequences. They were in their 20s. You know, the leaders of the first school were in their 20s. So but experience and youth is a great mix, because youth has energy, but energy without control is dangerous.
He tasked Nigerians to elect credible personalities with requisite capabilities to take the country out of the doldrum, irrespective of parochial sentiments, as the nation set for another cycle of elections. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Former Governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, has expressed his support for the presidential aspiration of Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal in 2023. The ex-governor gave his support during a courtesy visit from a large delegation of the members of the People's Democratic Party from Sokoto as part of the ongoing consultation by Tambuwal with major stakeholders in preparation for a formal declaration about his presidential ambition. Lamido, while speaking at his Bamaina residence in Birnin Kudu local government area, advised the older generation of politicians to give way to the younger generations. Still ahead, fears of re-emergence of political thuggery, locally known as Alari, is growing in the hearts of many residents of Gombe after attacks on officers of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and that of the ruling All Progressive Congress, the APC. Officer of the Northeast Business Communities for Atiku 2023 is also not spared in the recent thugs attack. Ibrahim Ismail has more.
This is the office of the main opposition People's Democratic Party PDP in Gombe that was touched on Monday night. The non-attackers also vandalized some parts of the office of the Northeast Business Communities for Atiku 2023, campaigning for the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. In the meantime, an office belonging to the supporters of Governor Inwaya called Zangongomna under the ruling All Progressives Congress APC was completely burnt down. With all these damages, no one knows the perpetrators, and leaders of the PDP and APC in the state are reacting to the development.
What is in my mind is not different from other experiences of this type of thing in other parts of the country. You know, this is politics, and you cannot rule out this type of thing. There are people who are highly impatient, and they don't have the capacity to accommodate what is happening now. It's very sad that somebody could lose his head and do this type of thing. That shows the level of our enlightenment, our knowledge on politics. Because this is sad, and this is not what politics is all about.
I want to state categorically that our party, the All Progressive Congress, did not and will never engage in arson or violence to attain political gains. We are calling on citizens of Gombe State to remain calm as the government is on top of the situation. Our peace-loving governor, Alhaji Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya, will go to any length to protect and to promote the peace we are enjoying. We equally call on the opposition People's Democratic Party to play politics with decorum and engage in decent politicking. Thank you and good evening.
Gombe State government issued a press statement to that effect.
We wish to remind all and sundry, irrespective of political affiliation, that we are in a democracy, and the only means of getting to power is through the ballot box, which time is yet to come. We also wish to state categorically clear that the government of Alhaji Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya will do everything to ensure the protection of people's lives and property. We will bring all the perpetrators of this dastardly act to book.
The Nigeria Police Force, Gombe State Command, through its Public Relations Officer SP Obed Mary Malum, warned politicians to avoid using thugs to cause unrest, pledging to launch investigation to bring the hoodlums to justice. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
So talking politics, chairman of ABC faction loyal to former governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari Lawal Liman, says the party is encouraged with solidarity and support being expressed by various groups and individuals to the aspiration of their leader, Abdulaziz Yari, for the position of the national chairman of the party. He said this in Gusau, the Zamfara State capital, when factions of Senator Kabiru Marafa and Abdulaziz Yari came together to drum support for Yari's chairmanship ambition. The report.
Gathered in the hall are Zamfara State APC members and party stalwarts, youth and women loyal to former Governor Abdulaziz Yari and Senator Kabiru Marafa. The purpose of their gathering is very clear. It is to drum support for the man they considered as the leader of the APC in Zamfara State, with credentials to be the national chairman of the party. Lawal Liman, who has been the chairman of the APC in Zamfara State, is visibly elated by the bold step taken by the youth to kickstart mobilizing support for the former governor ahead of the APC National Convention later this February to emerge as the national chairman of the party. Liman said that 36 states chairmen of the All Progressives Congress APC, including the Federal Capital Territory, have thrown their weight behind Abdulaziz Yari as they consider him the most capable and qualified to lead the party. Factional chairman of Senator Kabiru Marafa-led APC in the state, Suraja Mai Katako, said his faction is with their leader Abdulaziz Yari and will drum support to enable him emerge as the national chairman of the APC come February 26, 2022. However, the Governor Bello Mohammed-led faction of the APC in Zamfara State claimed there is no faction within the party in the state. The public secretary of the ruling APC faction, Yusuf Idris, claimed that the former Governor Abdulaziz Yari and Senator Kabiru Marafa's factions do not exist because they do not have the party membership registration cards and cannot be parading themselves as APC members.
Independent National Electoral Commission is organizing its election monitoring and support center to conclude strategic plans ahead of the Federal Capital Territory Area Council's election. European Center for Election Support is collaborating with the Commission on this. The Commission is also holding its Red Zone workshop as part of its final phases of election preparation, consisting of deployment of security funds, sensitive materials, reports, among others.
FCT environment and those of the adjoining states to identify both the internal and external factors that have the potential to impact negatively on the election, analyze the factors, and evolve effective preventive and/or mitigating measures. In this regard,
this coming election, the FCT, is very, very important to all of us. It's a signpost for 2023. It's a recipe for 2023, and we take this election very, very seriously. The FCT election is particularly important for INEC to draw lessons for future elections, including that of off-cycle governorship elections in Ekiti and Osun later this year, and the 2023 general elections. It's my hope that this Red Zone Implementers Workshop will be useful for the election managers convened here to critically assess the status of preparations while identifying necessary actions for a hitch-free exercise.
Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Dr. Mohammed Abubakar has pledged federal government's assistance to fishery value chain to boost production. The minister made the pledge when the leadership of the National Fish Association of Nigeria visited him in Abuja.
In totality, we'll go through this, reach out to you on the other prayers, and then we can see what we can do so that we will begin to benefit from the ministry. I can include you in the program that we are just about to start, so that I'm not quite sure the modalities, but we can give you something very subsidized, grains, for example, to produce the feed for your fish.
There you go. Now let's join Chamunda Beng for business news.
Nigeria's foreign exchange reserve recorded a $481.4 million decline in the month of January 2022 to close at $40.04 billion, following the $66.17 million decline recorded in the previous month. This is according to data obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. Notably, foreign reserve fell by 1.2% in January 2022 compared to $40.52 billion recorded as of 31st December 2021. The decline in the country's external reserve can be attributed to the continuous intervention by the central bank in the FX market to ensure stability of the currency. According to data from the CBN Statistical Bulletin for Quarter 3, 2021, the Apex Bank supplied a sum of $8.97 billion in the FX market through the INE, SME, and Invisible. According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics, NBN, capital imported to Nigeria declined by 47.6% year-on-year in 9 months to $4.52 billion compared to $8.61 billion recorded in the previous year, with foreign direct investment FDI only accounting for 7.55% of the total. Ogun State Internal Revenue Service, OGIRS, has extended the deadline for annual tax returns from February 1st to 14th of the month. The extension was to ensure that tax agents perform one of their civic responsibilities in line with the provision of the Personal Income Tax Act. A statement signed by the Executive Chairman, OGIRS, Olubenga Olaleye, said the decision was necessitated by the appeals from tax agents who have not been able to file their returns through the Ogun State Electronic Tax Administration portal, OGTax. Vice President Yemi Osibanjo has disclosed that the federal government realized 1 trillion naira from sales of government companies since the inception of the National Council on Privatization and its precursor Technical Committee on Privatization and Commercialization, TCPC. Vice President Osibanjo disclosed this when he inaugurated the reconstituted National Council on Privatization, NCP, in Abuja. The Vice President tasked members of the reconstituted National Council of Privatization, NCP, to tackle new transactions and reform activities of the federal government, as well as resolve some of the thorny economic issues that are critical to the country's economic development. Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, Captain Nuhu Musa, disclosed that the NCAA has begun the recertification of the Lagos and Abuja airports. Captain Musa said inspectors of the regulatory agency had begun a series of regular meetings with the official of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria with a view to ensuring that open items discovered are closed. According to him, the NCAA is expected to carry out a review as soon as a report of the technical inspections is submitted. on aircrafts that have been abandoned by their owners at various airports across the country. Musa decried the situation, explaining that legal disputes had stopped the regulatory agency and FAN from evacuating them. Nigeria missed its crude oil output target for January 2022, pumping 1.46 million barrels per day against a target of 1.683 million barrels per day as approved by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Officials of the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited said the country's continued inability to meet its output target had caused a repeated plunge in oil earnings, leading to the monthly drop in NNPC's remittances to the Federation account. Nigeria's prolonged inability to meet its OPEC production quota can be attributed to the spate of oil pipeline vandalisms, delay in the full implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act, among others. Meanwhile, industry figures seen on Tuesday show that the cost of Brent, the crude against which Nigeria's oil is priced, dropped marginally by $0.78 or 0.87% to $88.48 per barrel as at 4 p.m. Nigerian time. That's all for business news. I am Chamu Jabe.
And on the foreign scene, at least 26 people have died after they electrocuted by a falling power cable at a market in the Democratic Republic of Congo. A high-voltage cable snapped and fell onto houses and people shopping near the capital Kinshasa on Wednesday, although the cause of the power cable break is unknown. The DRC National Electricity Company said lightning had struck part of the cable, causing it to fall to the ground. Local media reports say that the majority of the victims are female market traders. Authorities say the bodies have been taken to the morgue and an investigation into the incident is underway. Now let's join Adeni Ajishafe for the latest in sports.
Second Crown Elite Basketball Championship dunk-off at Indoor Sports Hall of the National Stadium, Lagos, with Kwara Falcons beating Ebu Comet 48-45. Lagos Islanders defeated the University of Lagos 60-55 in Group A. In Group B, Dodan Warriors lost 59-69 to Raptors, while Lagos Legends triumphed over Rivers Hoopers in a 62-57 points. A 5-day tournament featuring 8 teams competing for cash prizes and participation in a U.S. basketball tour. Nigerian referees and assistants have been charged by Nigerian Football Federation to up their performance in officiating matches to be relevant and indispensable at the international scene. During the badging of Nigeria's 2022 FIFA referees, assistant referees, B soccer and full-star referees at Nigerian Football Federation FIFA Goal Project Package B, Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. NFF Executive Committee member and Chairman Referees Committee, Alhaji Sharif Inuwa, says having only one assistant referee at AFCON is a wake-up call on referees to get better in their duties as professionals. President of Nigerian Referee Association, Otumba Tade Aziz, says Nigerian referees must turn a new leaf and aim higher in discharging their duties. 11 referees and 11 assistants, 4 B soccer and 4 futsal referees received badges. COVID-19 vaccines will be mandatory for all Formula One personnel this season. Everyone within the paddock of Formula One's inner sanctum, where the teams operate, must be fully vaccinated, including drivers, teams, media, hospitality workers and guests who attend races as Formula One prepares to embark on the record 23-race calendar season. Legendary National Football League player Tom Brady has confirmed his retirement from the sport after 22 years in National Football League with 7 Super Bowls titles. Widely acclaimed greatest of all time, not just in National Football League, but the entire sport world. His retirement has lots of Tampa Bay fans heartbroken.
And I want to cry because Brady is retiring. I'm going to miss that. He's a good guy. He's got good players with him. I feel we're going to lose some of them too.
Hearing Brady retire, it's a lot of mixed emotions. But I think if you talk to any Bucs fan, it's more of just a thanks. Thanks for the ride. Thanks for the past 2 seasons. I think he left on top. Not the ending we all hope for this season, but I appreciate everything that you brought, Tom, and I hope that character, that spirit carries on for the next chapter for Bucks Nations. Thanks, Tom.
I think I speak for everyone in Tampa Bay when I say that we are heartbroken over the news of the retirement of the GOAT. We do owe Tom Brady a huge debt of gratitude. He did so much for our community. First Super Bowl in our own backyard.
That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
And that's it on News Hour tonight. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. Thanks for your time and company.